Three, two, one. Hello, everybody. Hello, and welcome to our Mindful Leadership podcast with my wonderful co host, Natasha Rocha. Hello, Natasha.
Hello, everyone.
And also, welcome to our special guest, Hazel. Is it Bly? Hazel Bly?
It is, yes.
Yay. I got a pronunciation right.
Yeah. Hello, both. Right, you got that. A good start. Hi, Natasha. Hi, John.
Fabulous. Welcome.
Beautiful. Welcome, welcome. And I think today is my turn to let you know a little bit about Hazel by reading her bio. So Hazel is an experienced executive search and career consultant who has transitioned into a menopause coach. She is currently navigating perimenopause herself. So she intimately understands the struggles and the challenges that come with this phase of life. She is married and has a 7-year-old high-spirited son. Being an only child, she is the sole caregiver to her aging parents. She has started a coaching business, which is a dream come true for her. That's so exciting. Through her personal journey, she has discovered the power of embracing an authentic self, leading to the creation of her specialized coaching programs. Now, as a powerful life coach, she supports women, many of whom are mothers, wives, caregivers, and leaders, by helping them reclaim their health, purpose, and a sense of identity while managing the complexities of menopause, career, and family responsibilities. She is passionate about helping women live their authentic selves and find or create their life purpose, and do all this with compassion, grace, intentionality, and humor, which is brilliant. And a few of the suggested topics that we'll cover today is menopause 101, breaking the silence, her personal journey from career coaching to menopause coaching, navigating menopause as a working woman, and the spiritual emotional transformation of menopause as well. And she does a 12-week one-on-one coaching program, a purposeful journey through menopause as well. Excellent. Could you tell us a little bit about your journey? What an incredible journey you've been on.
Yes, thank you, Natasha. Thanks for the introduction. So basically, I'll tell you the actually how menopause fell upon me. So about 2 years ago, we're going through post-COVID, the pandemic. We were a bit isolated. We learned how to live a new lives, working remotely, and sourdough bread making, all those sorts of things. But even before that, I already had felt isolated because I was diagnosed with depression and anxiety. And in addition to that, I started having menopause symptoms that I didn't know were menopause symptoms. I just had these symptoms that were coming up, and I would go see the doctor and said, okay, well, for that, you can take this meds and this and this. So it's very punctual, very just specific treatment, not a holistic one. Then one day, Minnesota is a very, very cold place. So in the middle of winter, so as you can imagine, probably below zero, I took the fan out because I was feeling really hot. So I was actually having hot flushes. And my husband said to me, are you in menopause? And instead of going, what are you talking about? I said, am I? And that's when my journey started because I started doing research. And basically, I was ticking all the boxes of what perimenopause is. And from then on, I did so many research before I actually addressed the issue to with my doctor, my GP, and then my OBGYN. And they did confirm to me that I was probably in perimenopause because actually you can't say to a woman you are in perimenopause. They're the ones who say it to you because they're experiencing the symptoms. And so that was, I thought, quite unfortunate because me, the patient, had to come to the doctor with already the research and the information, instead of them proactively giving me all this information and educating me. And so I was pretty frustrated about that because after consulting with my doctor, it didn't stop there. I had to kind of educating myself, okay, what happens after this? How long does it go? So I started studying perimenopause and menopause, and it opened this huge door of just information. I was just flabbergasted about um, about all the things that we don't know. And I found this company who was delivering certification for becoming menopause coaching specialist. And for once in my life, something made sense career-wise. I love coaching. That's part of the executive search and career consultancy that I love the most. It's coaching, it's getting to know people, getting the best out of them, guiding them. And I thought, I want to be that person who can help women that went through the struggles that I did. I want them to know that first, they're not crazy. This is absolutely normal. It's natural. There are different faces, and yes, it can be challenging, but it doesn't have to be because there are solutions, and you can live a vibrant life. And I am kind of like living proof of that because I'm still struggling with symptoms and stuff, but I have a completely different perception of who I am in my midlife and how I navigate through the symptoms, and also go through, continue with personal growth and growing spirituality, and just it doesn't menopause is not the end. Honestly, it's just a huge new chapter. So that's kind of my mission, and just spreading awareness.
Well, thank you, Hazel. And I must admit, like I hold my hand up when my wife first started going through menopause, and I think she found it quite hard to spot as well. Was like I really knew very little about it. It was like the world's best kept secret, and I was like, oh yeah, this happens to like all females, right? And I was like, so how come how come as a man, I don't seem to like know anything about it? And even worse, our women don't either. And also our modern medical science seems woefully in the dark about it. And I started my journey with perimenopause symptoms, especially like still about 95% of my clients in my energy healing, reflexology, and massage treatments are female. And
Wow.
for reflexology, what really astounded me was the ability to massage specific reflexes on the feet that do help with things with some of the symptoms like anxiety and
Mhm.
stress. And I'll come on to a bit of because I want to ask a question, but I'll come on to a bit later about how I can also see, I can tell if someone is in menopause or not, which I think is also astounds me as well, is that we can't just say,
It's amazing.
are you or not? You know, it's like, because it's such a huge thing that even, even if even if we could say to women, there's, a 20%, a 30%, a 60% chance that you're going through this, even some sort of probability that your body as an individual, because it's different for every person, is now going through this, and it'd be a big step. But before I go on about that, I wanted to ask you, Hazel, about your experiences of especially those first symptoms you came across, like stress and anxiety, because the and the anxiety seems like such a dominant part. Like it sounds so difficult to get our heads around. I'd love to hear your experiences of those
Mhm.
first symptoms.
Yes, absolutely. And I validate everything that you've said, John. So when it comes to anxiety, first of all, menopause affects the whole of your body from head to toe. So when estrogen level goes down, the brain function is disrupted, and it sends all these messages into your body, which is kind of mixed messages because the body's changing. So it can create increased depression, increased anxiety. So basically, it's like imagine that you are a phone and that you're in low power mode. So you
Hmm.
have a lot more friction, fewer background apps, and you're working with that
Mhm.
functioning as a normal phone. Um, your body is not functioning the same way it is recalibrating. And that's where anxiety, brain fog, all these things, lack of focus, decision making, all these things that we use in everyday life, especially for people, for women who are in leadership roles, who have very, very important decisions to make. um, it's very hard to not be able to rely on things that you're able to rely on. So I experienced a bit of brain fog. I didn't know what it was actually. I just know that I would go into a room and stop. Maybe it happens to everyone, but go into a room, I'd stop and thinking, why did I come to this room again? I couldn't remember, or just short-term memory. And it also affects um, cardiovascular system, so you can have heart palpitations. And and when you have symptoms like that, it can make you even more stressed because you don't understand what's going on in your body. And if your doctor cannot give you an exact answer, you're just wondering, what is going on? Because as a woman, you usually like to have control of your body and not seeing it change without your permission. And it's out of your control. Your body shape will change because you're going through hormonal shifts, you're going to brain function shift, cardiovascular, reproductive system, all of that is changing. So it's not just hot flashes. I don't know if that answers your question. So that's just regarding the anxiety and depression and yeah, all of those things.
Yeah, definitely. I think one of the themes I see in my female clients with anxiety is that they I mean maybe this is just the nature of anxiety, but it's like it's so elevated, but it feels so
Hmm.
unexplainable. Like they'll say to me, I don't know what it is. Like, what am
Hmm.
I meant to be worried about? Why am I anxious?
Hmm.
And my mind's telling me, but there's nothing to be anxious about. But my body feels anxious. I have tightness of breath.
Right.
I have like this worry. I'm struggling sleeping. It's like my body's, gearing up for something big, but I
Hmm.
just don't know
Yes.
what it is.
And it's funny
Yeah.
because one of the things that I was going through was this emotional roller coaster. Just suddenly it would happen that I feel completely depressed. I feel low, I feel forlorn. Um, and my husband would say, what happens? I wish I knew because I have no clue why I feel like this. I wish I knew so I can fix it. And you're right. In addition to that, you have sleep disturbances, and you're trying to find, solutions how to. So, all that creates mental health issues as well as physical issues because your day-to-day activities change. Your level of energy is lowered. So it's almost like you have to plan your day around your energy instead of your time. For instance, I suffer from that still. And the way I see it is, I have to be flexible. I have to respect the fact that maybe during the morning I have more energy, so that's when I'll do most of my work. And in the afternoon, I'll be more respectful and graceful with my body, and I'll do less strenuous things. So it's all that organization that has to change around menopause. And that doesn't mean that you have to stop everything. It's a great way to make really big choices because your time is your most precious thing, your time and your energy. And so this is why midlife is so important because what happened to me is it really made me question what is important, what do I want to do, what do I want to focus on? Because the old me is not that it's not valid. The old me that I think that I would be able to, carry on my whole life is not there anymore. It's a new me. So I'm not old, I'm only menopause and I'm going through a change. And I can actually give a name to this transformation, to this change. And so you feel empowered, and you feel like you're in control, and you have the choices, you can make decisions based on what you choose. And that's why when I work with clients, I talk about purpose. And purpose doesn't mean, oh, my purpose is I'm going to climb Mount Everest or anything like that. It can be small, tiny little alterations that puts you more in alignment with your values. For instance, I will go to bed at this time. And that one change might be this magical thing that you've been waiting for, but you hadn't thought about it. Maybe I'll do more self-care. Self-care doesn't mean taking baths always. It means setting boundaries. Okay, I will take time for myself. I need my quality time. And it's just, yeah, choosing what you're going to do with your time and energy and with the rest of your life.
I love that. There's so much to unpack there. Thank you so much for sharing that. And it's so true. Yeah, and I know for a lot of my clients that we're working through, they're so used to working one way. That I need to work through this. I'm such a good decision maker. This is how it's always
Mhm.
been. And then all of a sudden it's been like, I'm at a loss because they're like, their bodies are changing, their minds are changing, and they can't do what the old version of them used to be able to do. And that in itself, in changing that mindset, I think is so important. And a lot of people that I found tend to look at it from a negativity, in a sense of, oh my goodness, I'm getting old, or I'm going into, instead of kind of like saying,
Mhm.
okay, no, this is a different phase of my life. And I love that you've put that aspect of, no, I'm starting to control my time my way, in accordance to how my body is moving through that. um and it's quite scary as well. So I think a lot of women tend to ignore it until the symptoms become
Mhm.
completely, until you have to deal with it. I think we tend to deal with a lot of
Yeah.
things that way. It's like, oh, if I ignore it for long enough, it'll just go away. But it doesn't, right? So
It won't.
yeah, what is your advice for really embracing this different phase of our lives? This adventure that's coming in, that on how we're changing and how to respect that. What is your advice? How do you help women, like their mindset, in kind of like embracing it
Mhm.
rather than rejecting this part of our lives?
The first thing I start with is I actually ask them,
Hmm.
where are you at? What makes you think that you're in perimenopause or menopause, and all the symptoms that they have. I ask them what they're going through, what kind of changes they want to make. Basically, it's like everyone, you just want to feel better. You just want to get rid of all these bad things and come back like the old you, which is not going to happen. I explained to them that, first of all, this is normal, it's natural, and you can't escape it. It's going to happen to you. And the best things I think that women can do is to educate themselves
Hmm.
about what menopause is, because very few women and even less men know about the three stages of menopause. There's perimenopause, which can start as early as 35 years old. If you're not aware of that, if you want to have a baby around that age, you might come, there might be hurdles along the way. And then after perimenopause, there's menopause. And there's no telling you from the doctor, oh, you're going to expect menopause on 2nd of July 2026 or something. It's basically the 12 months within which you haven't had your period. That's you're in your menopause. And then there's post-menopause. And so I explain that to them. I explain to them where they are at. I validate the symptoms. I explain to them why they're having these symptoms and what solutions we can, bring forward. And they make the choices. They choose the pace. They choose what are important to them, for instance. So I work on a surface and a depth track. Surface is everything to do with what can we change in your lifestyle, in your mindset, in your energy that practical strategies that you can implement right here, right now. And so we can't change everything at once. I'm not a magician, I can't do that, but we can choose what are the most important things. I usually ask them for three things. So I have this, that life wheel. Have you guys seen that wheel of life where you have areas of it? So I have areas of symptoms. I would have energy, spirituality, sleep, all of those, and we choose three that we work on and we change throughout. So we work on their symptoms. We work on the mindsets that could help them, navigate through menopause. It's like if something is not working, it's not an all or nothing. We just find something else. So that's why it's personalized. But the depth is actually quite important. It's what's going on inside you. It's who you are. Where am I going? Your identity, what life means to you, because that will carry you long term to where you want to be. So, yeah, my suggestion is educate yourself. Just know that it's normal and natural. And know that you don't know about menopause because we're not educated about this. Growing up, I wasn't taught by neither my mom, my family, not in schools, not even in doctors' offices, and especially not at the workplace, because there's also what we call menopause stigma. So menopause is associated with the end of reproductive years, which could which leads to contributing to societal shame and a perception of loss of value for the women, and namely um, with regards to sexual attraction or vitality, because menopause is often framed within the context of ageism and sexism, and that gives rise to all the negative stereotypes about women. So, women end up feeling isolated, embarrassed, unsupported, and that's really unfortunate because we need to talk about it. And so what we're doing is, I want to just tell them, men, women, children, family, please start talking about it, addressing it very early on. My plan later on in long term is to start educating about menopause from the beginning, explaining to daughters, women, you're going to go through puberty. That's when you get your period. And there'll be a time where you've reproductive years, and then you go through perimenopause, menopause, etc. And this is a part of a woman's life for every single woman. And men go through changes different. They don't have their period, but there's also changes in the body. And I think the more everyone knows about it, it's less there's less stigma about it, and it's more comforting for women. Because I don't know about you, Natasha, but when I was growing up during puberty, when I learned, oh, everyone's got their period, when am I going to get mine? And when I got my period, oh, I'm a period, what does it mean? So you get excited about it, but no one goes, oh, I have menopause. This is wonderful. What does that mean? But basically, the positive thing about it, hey, you don't have to deal with periods anymore. So, I would say to women, educate yourself, start tracking around your 35 birthday, start tracking your cycle, your symptoms, so you have more control over it. And when you start seeing more and more symptoms, then address to doctor, because the earlier you address it, the better for you it is long term. For instance, in the Oprah show that took place last week, Menopause: The Revolution, there was a neurologist that said addressing menopause and the symptoms early on can really help lower the dysfunction of cognitive health of the brain, and it will slow down or lower the risk of developing, for instance, ADHD, because ADHD actually corresponds to around perimenopause, menopause. And I'm working right now with a client with ADHD, which is amazing, but even more difficult for them than women without ADHD.
Wow. There's so much. And I just want to say, if I forget, thank you for raising both this topic and also
Mhm.
just your passion, Hazel, about
Oh,
the awareness, because it seems such a miss for the human race. It's like we
mm,
when you're saying that we can help each other just by educating is such a huge leap forwards, and that even that it could help
oh yeah.
cognitively, like and absolutely with mental health and well-being. I did hear, and I'm probably going to get these facts wrong, right? So just kind of I'll keep this high level, but
No worries.
what I'm really interested in the why perimenopause, menopause, and postmenopause happens. And I did hear, I think I was listening to someone's podcast or one of these like YouTube shorts, and they were saying that not many species in the world go through like the menopause and the three stages. And they had a very strong, what seemed like completely unfounded opinion, but an interesting one to consider, which was that the survival of the human race needs women, not men, interestingly, to for women not to be procreating so that they can help nurture. This was their theory to help nurture youngsters. So all us crazy teenagers and kids running around, trying to get on with our lives and start to procreate for our species. That actually we need these strong, empowered women who aren't having to go constantly through childbirth because that's what us men would be doing, I guess, as a species. And
Yes.
that really fascinated me because I thought, I don't know that the latter is true, but there's something in it, right? There's something that is, it's not just a giving up of the role of the woman. In fact, it seems very empowering. And it seems like something that, yeah, one day, wouldn't it be lovely to celebrate and say, for people to be genuinely
Hmm.
excited and to not just supportive and almost, I feel a bit like it many people feel apologetic about their body and that the fact that they're going through it and that there's some shame and stigma as you highlighted, Hazel.
Hmm.
And it'd be so lovely to celebrate that and to see actually it's an opportunity just for people to be able to step into their power. And I'm sure once we sort all that out and get much better at it for women, the the
Yeah.
male side as well will start to pay a bit more attention to, because that also seems like it's even worse. Like we're just in denial almost that it exists, even though our testosterone levels at least dip. But yeah, I'd love your
Hmm.
thoughts on the why you think our bodies, the females are designed to go through these changes.
Hmm. So, just in general, a human being ages over time, and so that is normal and natural. And for women, with aging comes menopause, perimenopause. So what happens is even prior to perimenopause, um, during the reproductive years, at some point, their estrogen and progesterone level decreases, and so these are hormones that help with reproduction. And so what happens is the brain, with the help of with these hormones, send message to the ovaries, the reproductive system to make eggs, to ovulate, because every month a woman has the ability to make babies. If there's embryo, if there's ovulation, etc. But at some point, the level of estrogen, progesterone decreases. The brain doesn't know that. The brain just know how to function. So the more it decreases, the brain just keeps sending because they're expecting ovulation, they're expecting eggs to be released, and it's not happening. So the brain goes, okay, well, let's send more estrogen, let's send more progesterone down there. And so instead of being able to, let's say, spread the brain's energy to other things, other than working with his hormones like seeing, memorizing, singing, or whatever, all these activities, it is focused on producing more and more of these hormones. And so what happens is it doesn't allow for the rest of the body to function normally. And this is where brain fog, anxiety, stress, etc., happen. So it's just really levels of hormones and other things that happen within the body, and it's natural. And what's good is that you can actually help balance your hormone levels with different through different treatments. If you go to your GP, they can talk to you about what solutions there are. There's such things as hormone therapy. Like for instance, now I have estrogen and progesterone just to balance the lack of estrogen and progesterone and help me be able to balance mood swings, help with my level of energy, and all of those things. In so if I have to put it shortly, is menopause comes with aging body, so less estrogen, less progesterone, brain functions the same, but doesn't get the results that they want, so they keep doing it. And instead of focusing on other things, it's just focusing on making that egg ovulating, and that's where we get brain fog, anxiety, and but also as you age, for instance, around for women around the reproductive area, the because of lack of estrogen and other hormones, the pelvic floor, what it's called, it's what's holding all your organs. It actually kind of the strength of it is decreased, so women go through urine leakage or even pelvic floor prolapse, which is very, very serious. So that means this can impact their daily lives. You're in a meeting, but suddenly you have to go to the bathroom, or you can't do your workout anymore because if you lift weights, then you have leakage. So all these little things that actually can impact a woman's life. There are women who don't even go out anymore, unfortunately, because they cannot handle the brain fog, they can't really interact, or they have to they go to the bathroom, or they just simply feel embarrassed because no one knows about it and they struggle silently. So that's sort of, and I can actually what I do. My website is in construction right now, but I do have a Facebook page where I will post resources. Um, it's free resources that everyone can have about what menopause is. It has visuals for people who have brain fog, so they can actually just see what's happening, and just things that you can learn about. If you don't want to go through coaching, you can just learn about it through by self-study and get some tips on things that matter to you.
Okay.
Hazel, thank you so much for sharing that
Yeah.
information. For sure. I have a couple of questions that I don't know, have your studies taken you to studying different women in different countries and how they experience menopause? Because one of the theories that I've heard, and maybe you can demystify that if the harder the menopause symptoms is sometimes an indication of a lack of nutrient within the body or a lack of something within the body, that tends to, and it's besides the estrogen progesterone, it's like that we can naturally produce that, and that's why I was thinking, in certain countries, do women experience less side effects or less of the effects of, not even side effects, less of the effects of menopause than others do in different countries? Have your studies taken you to places like that?
Not that much in depth, but I do know that in my studies, we do take into account cultural background, um, and nutrition and all that. And from my understanding, there are parts of the world like Asia or Africa where women struggle more with menopause, maybe stronger symptoms, and more visible symptoms like hot flushes. Like for instance, for me, I have more hot flushes than my Caucasian friends. And that could also be because of how our body is, how do I say that, evolved in the environment that we have. For instance, in Asia, the main cause of death for women is cardiovascular, it's hypertension. And that is due to the food that we eat. We eat a lot of rice, for instance, a lot of spicy things, which actually contributes to hot flushes. and other symptoms. And that may also be the case. And so it's not just the woman's body, but also the environment and the culture they are in. And and there are cultures that don't even want to talk about menopause simply. It's as something shameful. Anything to do with menstruation is it's shameful. It's so unfortunately, so women don't really get that help as early on as they would as they should.
Yeah, beautiful. And are there any cultures that actually really uphold a woman once she's going through menopause as well? Because I know with a lot of indigenous cultures as well, women are revered. It's very much a matriarch, and it's very much a stature for some women as well. Has anything
Mhm.
come up for you in your researches around that as well?
That's a great question. And I think I'll do research on that. Not to my understanding, not to my knowledge, but you are right. There are, actually was born in the Philippines, and it's a very matriarchal society. So we do revere women's intelligence, their ability to run the world. But it doesn't mean that we talk about menopause. It's still something that, and the reason is, I think one thing is in general, women are just conditioned to manage things silently and to, not bother with it, just go on with it, shake it off, or things like that. And and it can also be seen as a weakness, especially for professional women. They might be afraid that showing symptoms means showing weakness and having less opportunity for the career that they want or just being seen as a less than other people. However, at the same time, in my culture, it can be just discussed openly if you want. You can just raise the issue, but I don't believe you would be made felt embarrassed. It's just that if I talk when I talk to my mum about menopause, my mum is 89 years old. She does not remember going through menopause,
That's awesome.
nor my mother-in-law, nor people within that generation, uh, which is amazing because then you think maybe they didn't go through menopause. It's just that they didn't put light onto it. They didn't bring light into it because that was not the culture of that generation.
Okay.
Wow. Yeah, it is really fascinating. And I remember not that many years ago just hearing things like, oh, hot flushes must be the menopause. And I think that was almost all that I was aware of. I
Yeah.
didn't really know much about the symptoms. Um, and I mentioned earlier about um, in reflexology, it fascinated me. I think it's an ancient technique. It goes back, the reflexology goes back thousands of years. And
Mm-hmm.
one of the moves that we do is is just around the heel. It's that kind of softer part just above the heel, just at we described
Mm-hmm.
between the ankle and the Achilles tendon on both sides, on
Mm-hmm.
both feet, and visibly, like if I look at the feet of a woman who has been either I think I don't know the exact accuracy, but somewhere between um, starting perimenopause and the actual menopause phase, what seems
Mm-hmm.
to happen is that there's like shrinkage in that area. So visibly, you wouldn't need to
Oh.
touch your foot, you could see it, and almost like the skin pulls in tighter there, like this little dip. And it's during menstruation, it's the opposite. So it and what these are the nerve
Wow.
endings at the ends of all the reproductive organs um, on male and females in roughly the same location. But in menstruation, when a woman's menstruating, they feel kind of when I touch them, those reflexes would feel more puffy and exaggerated. And I would never consider it to be, today we don't use reflexology for any diagnosis, but we do use it to, we'd have a discussion. So it'd say, oh, if a client says to me, um, I ask about their menstruation, and perhaps they'll say, oh, it's been a while. You know, I'm not sure if I'm going through um, uh, perimenopause in any way. They might have been struggling with some of the symptoms you've already described, like anxiety and stress. And I guess some of the challenges is different for everyone, right? Everyone experiences it uniquely.
Mm-hmm.
But what I would say is, please do see your GP. You know, go and check, because it's very easy, especially when there's other things going on in our lives. And I love what you're saying about, you know, women run the world, right? And they do so silently and very very self-sacrificing. It's like this incredible ability to run a household, and you know that the man stereotypically goes off and, you know, takes all the glory, right? But it's really the woman that's holding everything together. And so um I was just I just wanted to highlight that. And I thought I was interested in, have there been any other studies or any other ways that um we can help women identify when they're starting to go through these symptoms, or if not, what would be your advice? Like, what are the warning signs for people to look out for, so that they can begin to more thoroughly educate themselves and perhaps seek medical advice as well?
Well, I would say that it's tracking your cycle in
Mhm.
your 30s, because that's a that's a big indication. What happened to me is my cycle got shorter and shorter. What's happening? It wasn't as intense as it used to be. So those are, slight changes that mean something. Something's going on in your body. So once you see that, whether you have or you don't have symptoms, it's good to take note of it. And so that's when I say track that, and then you might start seeing symptoms little by little. And when it gets, don't wait until it's unbearable. Mention it to your GP so you can take preventive measures, whatever they are. And also you can do the tests that are necessary, because there might be something else that's happening within your body that has nothing to do with menopause. The body is so mysterious. There's so many things happening for women. You go through endometriosis, you go through menopause, you go through infertility. So it could be anything, and that's affected by these hormones. So please track your cycle if you can. When you see there's a change, mention it to your GP when you think it's necessary. And so don't wait too long, because the more you know about it, ask your GP questions. Ask them for I don't know, a drawing. Explain to me what's happening to my body. That is their job. Ask them what's going to happen to me, how long does it take, because that is their job. They will answer your questions. I have an amazing OBGYN, and she's been very supportive of the thing, what I'm doing. I don't treat the medical side of it, but I do treat, I work with clients to just navigate the symptoms and their journey through it. But I really appreciate that she would take time. And if you don't get answers, if you don't get clarity or feel support from your GP or OBGYN, then please change, because that just means they're not the right people for you.
Perfect. Awesome. And on a mental level, is there an affirmation that we can perhaps use, or, what would you recommend from, from a mental emotional level? Is this what can we tell ourselves?
Yeah. So as I said at the beginning, first of all, I just wanted to point out that there are different levels of severity in menopause, and there are women, 99% of women will experience menopause. The severity of symptoms will vary. And there are women who actually don't even experience symptoms. It can be so slight. So it could be that you're not going to have to struggle with it as other women would. So don't be scared. Don't be frightened. And the other thing is, as I said, these symptoms have solutions. You can have tactical strategies to manage them, so you're in control. So the mantra that I use with my clients is, I'm the boss, not menopause. So that kind of empowers them. You decide. You have low energy. Well, I create for them a menu of things that will help them, for instance, with sleep disturbances, with nutrition, with exercises. They have choices that they can make. So they manage it, and they feel more in control and empowered. And honestly, this could be the most powerful and transformational journey of your lifetime, because this is midlife is you've gone through so many experiences. You know yourself more. You know what your likes, your wants, etc. There's less BS in your head about what you want your life to look at. And so this is a great opportunity to become who you were always meant to become. We're less um, we care less about what other people think. We've grown, we've matured, and so I would say, grab this opportunity, make it yours, and make your menopause the best menopause experience you can have. And if you take care of, perimenopause, menopause, the post-menopause is going to be brilliant. Just know that, because it actually impacts uh, your bones, your muscles. So if you do what is necessary, especially around nutrition and exercise, this can help you have a better post-menopause life, more healthy, more energetic.
Thank you.
So I'm the boss, not menopause.
Love it. Love it. I think before we jump into meditation, how can people get a hold of you, Hazel?
Right. So I have a Facebook page. So if they go on Facebook and they just simply type Hazel Bly Menopause Coach, they'll find me. And I also have a LinkedIn. They just type Hazel Bly and Menopause Coach, and they'll find me as well. My my website is in the making. It soon will be finished. They'll have explanation of what my programs are about. And very soon, I'm actually launching my group coaching session with the Better Group. So this is a great opportunity if you want to learn about menopause, but you don't want to do a one-to-one 12-week coaching. Because some people want to do it with the support of other, being able to exchange. It's a completely different experience, but it is just as valuable. So they can find information there. So Facebook, Hazel Bly Menopause Coach, and LinkedIn, Hazel Bly Menopause Coach as well. And then I'll put in there once my website is done. And I also just want to say, John, it's amazing that you're working with women in perimenopause and menopause, because a lot of women do not know who to go to for, that healing on a soul level, spiritual level, that without having to explain what's going on, and just to feel relief, that is such a huge thing. Like, I'm thinking of massages and reflexology all the time. I wish it was at just arm's reach, but
Yeah.
that what you're doing is so meaningful. And I think a lot of my clients, if you're open to it, for me to refer you, refer Natasha in their journey, and know that there are other things that they can do outside the medical world, outside the coaching world. And what I teach my clients, for instance, is the importance of breathing, the importance of mindfulness. So breathwork is also something that I would recommend to women, and actually anyone who's struggling. Just come back to yourself, take a minute to breathe. And I have to tell you, I have a client who has been using it, and it has changed her life. She felt like she had a home to go to when things were going kind of, a bit hectic or bad.
Mhm.
So I just wanted to thank you for the work that you do, you and Natasha.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah,
John
please.
is a very gifted practitioner as well, so I'd recommend, yeah, absolutely.
Wonderful.
Brilliant.
Would you like to do is take us through a mindful meditation, Natasha?
I will do. I will do.
Mm,
Thank you very much. I'm excited to
I
see
love
what
this.
comes up. Okay, let's close our eyes. Let's take a couple of deep breaths. Breathing in through our noses and out through our mouths. Inhale, calm. And allow this energy of calm to move through your body. And as you exhale, release any tension, stress, any anxiety that you might be feeling in your body. Breathing in calm and exhaling all that no longer serves. As you continue to breathe deeply and completely, release the tension in your jaw. Drop the shoulders. Release the heaviness in the chest. And allow the calm to move throughout your body. Allow your body to just be your body. Allowing your head to just be your head. Slowing down the thoughts. Allowing them to be thoughts. Allowing your throat, your chest. Allowing your heart to beat and your lungs to support the breathing. Nothing else, just be. Allowing your bones to just be your bones. Your digestive system to just digest. So often we put pressure on this mechanism. So often we ignore the body. Take this time to honor this beautiful vehicle. Allowing this body to just be a body. A beautiful mechanism that allows us to experience life and all aspects of life. For one moment, just scan your body, allowing it to just be a body. And step into observation of what is going on within your body. And as you're scanning your body, allowing it to express, if your body could speak, what would it say to you right now? Ask it. What does it need? How could you support it? Is there an organ or a place that is calling for your attention? Hold space for that organ and ask, allow it to speak. How can you support your body? Honor that body, honor those requests. Because this is a beautiful physical representation that allows you to be who you are in this world. And for this question, I ask you to connect into the spiritual heart, connecting into your heart center and asking the question, who am I? Who am I now? Not who I was before, who am I now? And the next question we're going to ask, who do I want to become? And one last question. How do I direct my time and my energy?
The change to becoming the person I wish to be. Let's ask, what is one thing that I can do today that would honor my body, would honor my soul today? Sending gratitude to our bodies, Sending gratitude to our essence. And in gratitude to all those that we are here to support and that are here to support us as we call forward the right people, the right places, and the right opportunities to support us throughout our journey, throughout the changes of life. May we call forward the people to support these shifts, these changes, allowing us to remember who we are and who we are becoming. Giving thanks and gratitude once more to all those that have supported us until now. Giving thanks once more to the body, to the mind, and to the soul. Thank you. And take one deep breath and exhale. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. And make sure you honor yourself and do whatever came up for you today that would honor your body and your mind and your soul.
That was brilliant. Thank you so much, Natasha.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Natasha. That was lovely. My body kept saying, drink more water and get a good night's sleep. And it's like, I've got water here. This is good. I'll remember the sleep.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much.
I love the message.
Thank you.
And thank you, Hazel, for joining us. It's been a real pleasure to have you on and raise such an important subject that touches over half our planet. And I'm really excited to hear more about your work. And yeah, please do feel free to send people that resonate with Natasha and I, and vice versa. Now I know someone who can help coach people through their changes in their lives. So thank you so much. And
Oh, that'd be lovely.
and also, if you're interested in becoming a guest on our show, please do let us know. You can, you'll if you look at the description of all our videos and podcasts, you'll see details of how to submit your request. And thank you again, Hazel. It'll be lovely to get you back on again sometime soon. And thank you, everyone, for watching.
Yes.
Take care, everyone. Thank you.
Oh,
See you.
Bye-bye,
just one
everyone.
last thing.
Oh, of course. Go ahead.
Just one last thing.
Yes.
If anyone has any questions, please feel free to go to the Facebook or LinkedIn and message me, and I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have. And I'll also do webinar and do a podcast. So maybe John and Natasha one day will come and give us expertise in their domain to help perimenopausal, menopausal women.
Fabulous. Yeah,
Perfect.
I'd love to.
Thank
And I'll make sure we get those details added to the description. So I'll be in touch if I don't have those already, Hazel. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. See you in the next episode. Thank you.
Thanks
Bye-bye,
so much.
everyone. Thank you.